Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where we provide world-class education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration, and maybe space exploration. I'm not really sure, but we are certainly growing, and we thank all of you out there across the world for being part of our incredible journey. Our show today is the United Kingdom News and Culture, and unless you are sleeping, you know that there is so much going on in the United Kingdom, especially with the royal family. And we are blessed here at USA Global TV and Radio to have our expert correspondents who week after week show up and tell us what is going on with the royal family as well as what's going on in the United Kingdom. Joining me in this incredible journey is my dear friend and the star of our show, DIANN FLOYD BOEHM. She's an international award-winning author. She has graced many stages, wore many tiaras and hair jewelry. We're going to find out what she's been up to. Hello, DIANN. Welcome.
Thank you, Dr. JACALYN. It's lovely to see you.
Nice to see you. You're there in the Story Garden. Tell us a little bit about that.
The Story Garden is where I invite authors, children's authors to be specific, to come in and share their story. And it's a safe place for parents to know when they go to the Story Garden, they're going to have quality stories and a fun time for the kids.
Oh, I love that. And as a former educator, you have been in many classrooms and you've worked with many children and their families. So thanks for everything that you are doing to make education first and foremost in so many people's lives.
Thank you so much. It means a lot to me.
Don't I look small, by the way? I look like I'm sort of fading.
I thought maybe you had joined the space exploration.
No, actually, yesterday on one of our shows, the Planet Earth show, Roland and I decided to go with this background, and it seemed kind of cool. But today, I don't know. But anyway, that's cool. neither here nor there. Joining me with the same background, by the way, is our expert correspondent on the royal family, everything that has to do with the royals. She has been been and is on all the major platforms across the world, bringing world-class news about what is going on there in the UK. Let's welcome the international award-winning broadcaster. It's Helena CHARD. Hello.
Hey, so lovely to see you. Am I looking very little as well? I think I am, aren't I? What's
I'm a
happening?
giant next to you guys.
I know. I feel
Just
like
like
we
me
need to have like
forward.
space suits or something, connect each other. So we can, it's kind of
So
cool. But how are you
pretty
doing,
cool, though.
Helena?
I'm good. I'm really good. It's very busy. It's a very royal time. I have something shortly afterwards with Fox. People are just asking lots of questions. I mean, it's a strange old time in general, I think, not just the royal family, I think, but there are lots of good things out there and some wonderful creative, I don't know, exhibitions and things like that going on in the UK. And I feel blessed that I'm in the heart of London and I can just nip out, even on a tube, and just visit all these wonderful places. So, yeah, I'm great. Thank you very much. And I hope you guys are too.
We are. We missed you last week, and we're glad that you're back. So
No, thank you.
also joining us, one of our expert correspondents from Scotland, Mr. Simon McDonald, who always leaves us in stitches, crying or laughing at the end of the show. Let's welcome him to the program. Hello.
Hello. Oh, goodness gracious. You seem to be halfway to the moon just now. I think there's
the two big people are on top, and the two little people are under there.
Yes, well,
and I love how waved on video.
Yeah, some of us are getting bigger. Too much chocolate.
Simon, I have to say, I saw an interview that you did, I want to say a month or so ago on YouTube. And I just want to thank you. You talked about how much you enjoy being on this program, and that really meant a lot to me. So thank you.
Means a lot to me as well. I absolutely love this time of the week.
Oh.
4 o'clock, Wednesday afternoon. Oh, it's just fantastic. It really is. It's, it's the one time in the week I feel I can sort of let the hair down, just relax a bit as well, and have a bit of fun and give a little bit of knowledge and history out as well. So yeah, it's a wonderful show, wonderful time, and I wouldn't miss it for the world.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. I really got that sense when I was watching the interview you did. So thank you very much. So I guess today everybody's wondering, where is Kate? And the one thing that I'm wondering is, when you are somebody who is in the public domain, you don't get any privacy. Everybody is like constantly, what are you doing? What are you wearing? What did you say to her? It's crazy. I don't know how people manage. So we're going to hear a little more from Helena today about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's so much going on. Do we speak about that to begin with? I think, with Kate, what's happened is we're in this world and we want to know more. So the royal family has always been this sort of kind of mystical. It's been wonderful and is wonderful, but now it's the sort of modernizing of the royal family, and more information is being given. Not huge amounts, but enough really for us, we folk, to sort of listen to and think, okay, and move on. But everyone, once they've got a bit of information, the speculation starts and they want to know more. Everyone wants more. Everyone's knocking at the door, and social media is going mad, asking various questions, and actually it's got to a point it's invasive. And I do think, okay, the royal family is the royal family. Yes, they do work for us and they do a good job, but hey, everyone is entitled to a little bit of privacy. And I feel King Charles obviously giving his diagnosis and being very open, and also knowing that Catherine, the Princess of Wales, obviously has had quite a big operation, but is doing okay, and we're being updated she's doing okay. That should be enough. I really think that should be enough. We don't need to know every minutiae detail. And I don't know. This is where I say I think our world is going completely mad. We're at a different time. It wouldn't have been like this years ago. It's a complete modernisation. But then you start thinking, well, with that reference to the royal family, also intrigue is quite exciting, and all the history. And if you were to give every single bit of information, sort of loses that mystique, I feel. What do you think?
I agree, absolutely. It does lose its mystique, and I also agree with you that everybody, no matter what, deserves a little privacy. So, but I don't know why the world or people can't be happy and make their world a little better and quit bothering other people. So that's my soundbite.
Yeah, it's the curiosity killed the cat scenario. I think it really is. But no, they are entitled to their privacy. They really are, and we all are from time to time. Yeah, although sometimes I feel I'm sort of living in a bit of a goldfish bowl, but it's yeah, there we go. It's part of the job description. No, they are. I think they're absolutely right in keeping keeping the gory details to themselves. I think they, and I respect that, and I respect the fact that that's what they've done.
Absolutely. And I feel like we have more information about the royal family now than we've ever had in the past, and yet it's not enough. It's like, here's more information. Oh, I need more, I need more, I need more. So it's got to stop at some point.
Yeah.
Definitely. We've been given enough, I feel. We know roughly what's going on. And also with Princess Kate, Catherine, Princess of Wales, we've been told that we hope to see her after Easter. So we've been given that time scale. Let's just give that give them their privacy, should I say. It's just, it's madness. But I know there are certain things that have led to this as well. Certain things have led to the whole, wondering what's going on. But let's just see what happens. But I mean, the big thing that's broken today, obviously, is Prince Harry and his he has, I'm laughing, I shouldn't be laughing at all, but I mean, just following everything. So Prince Harry has lost his High Court case over his UK security. So he, again, is not allowed to just have security willy-nilly whenever he comes into the UK. And a bespoke arrangement, of course, will be agreed. So this legal challenge with the Home Office obviously now doesn't give him the right to police protection whenever he wants to. He's going to appeal the judgment. And this is quite tricky. It's not as easy as, saying yes or no. And there's a body called RAVEC, RAVEC, which is the Home Office, the Royal Household and Metropolitan Police. And they make the decision. I don't think it's a bad thing at all. He and Meghan are no longer working for the royal family. It's not that people don't care, and of course he's going to have protection if he comes over for certain things, but it will be done on a pro rata basis. So he will say, I'm coming over for XYZ, and then it will be looked into. I mean, can you imagine if it was just this agreement that he could have protection whenever he came over? He'd be coming over with all his film crews and doing loads of filming for whatever body it was. And I just think, let's just see what happens. I do understand they need protection. That's not what everybody's talking about, but that's today's breaking news. And I was sort of waiting, as it was breaking down to the last few minutes, and then that was announced. But there we are. And just prior to that as well, King Charles was seen waving to the crowds as usual. The continuity is there, on his way to his treatment. So it was great to see him. As we were talking about previously, everyone's saying, where is Kate? What's happened? What's happening? Because people are always wanting to ask more. But this, I think, has basically started. It's people are asking more and more. Unfortunately, yesterday, I hope you can hear me, the Prince of Wales had to cancel. He pulled out of King Constantine's memorial in Windsor. And it was quite late in the day. The royal family never like to cancel anything, so there has to be due cause for why that happened. He was giving a reading, and so he was in the order and announced that he would be there. So that's pretty sad. So King Constantine II of Greece, it's his memorial at St George's Chapel. He happens to also be Prince William's, or was Prince William's godfather. So he really did want to make it. And of course, the announcement came that Prince William wasn't going to attend for a personal reason. And you see that personal reason, obviously everyone was like, oh, what's going on? Is it, what's happening? Is it King Charles? Is it Catherine, Princess of Wales, who's ill? What's happening? And then the furore started. We were updated by the palace that King Charles is fine. and Catherine, Princess of Wales, is doing well. So we will take it that that's fine, but we don't know what that personal reason was. Unfortunately, as well, during that, the optics were not so great, and the optics are so important in this day and age. And of course, Prince Andrew was seen leading the royal clan into to where the memorial was taking place, which was not such a good look. Queen Camilla again was there instead of King Charles, and a lot of the royals were there. So it was, it was a good attendance, but it's left this uneasy feeling. And we did find out later in the day as well that Prince William's god sister, and that's Lady Gabriella Kingston, they're very, very, very good friends. They're the same age. They were sort of brought up together from a young age. Her husband, unfortunately, Tom Kingston, pronounced dead. Very unusual. No one knows what's happened. It's quite a shock. And he was a much loved member of the family. They're not working members of the royal family, but nevertheless, much loved members. And the irony as well is they've not been married for so long, and they were married in the same place that this memorial was happening. So it's sort of a very strange set of reasons, but I'm sure things will come out, and we shouldn't worry. These things happen, and I think again we're knowing more and more about the royal family now, and they're not allowed any slack. And I think a little while ago we wouldn't have known things. It would have been because this was actually a private ceremony. We wouldn't have known necessarily that Prince William was having to pull out, but now every bit of detail is out there. I don't know if it's a good thing. I really don't. I just do. I love. We have to modernise. I get it, and we have to also have younger people also enjoying the royals, but I just it's a tricky one. It's a fine balance, and again, we're sort of at the beginning of something new, and hopefully it will just appease and things will work out. So there we are with that. It's a very royal time. I also would like to. I'm going to move away from the royals for a little bit, and the V&A. Now, the V&A, the Victoria and Albert Museum, is a home to creativity. It's a wonderful place. And they're always looking at new little exhibitions, and their exhibitions are amazing. Again, I feel so blessed to be in the heart of London, be able to travel to all these wonderful places. And at the moment, they're recruiting super fans of one, Taylor Swift, which I find really interesting, but people who have very diverse subjects, very niche interests. So I know that they're looking for people who have a niche interest in Crocs, in drag culture, in emojis, I think was one of them as well. Very strange. And there's 9 advisors that they're hoping to get who have specialist subjects. To me, the Swifties, so the people who are absolutely know everything about Taylor Swift and all the cultural phenomenon and fan base, etc., I find that so bizarre. We're in a different world, but these people that have their specialist subjects are employed by the V&A. It's sort of one of those 0-hour contracts, but nevertheless, the experts, they'll advise alongside other experts who are appointed. There's somebody who's an expert on Toby jugs. I mean, Toby jugs. I don't know if everyone knows about Toby jugs. I just remember what they look like. It's like these funny little jugs with these sort of little ugly male face at the front. Very odd. I don't know the background to it, so maybe that's not fair. But Lego as well, and Pokemon cards. So isn't it amazing how we can all have these specialist little subjects that actually then we can go and get a job in these museums, which I think is amazing. So I look forward to all the exhibitions and things that are going to come as part of this. So that would be something great. And moving on from the V&A, that's just one of our wonderful exhibitions. I am going to speak about, I think I'm going to celebrate 2 people. And there are so many people that we can celebrate. I mean, too many people really. But, we have to continue celebrating people. And I know Dr. JACALYN has her fabulous platform that enables people to speak their truth and celebrate people, and people can tell their stories, which is fabulous. But I'm going to talk about the lovely artist, Sir Frank Bowling. Now, all I can say is happy 90th birthday. There he is. That's him in his studio. He is such a great guy. He's appeared on lots of our TV programs. He helping with creating wonderful works of art. Now he sort of is an impressionist artist. He does some amazing pictures. I mean, he's one of the greatest living artists today, I'd say, in the um, and oh gosh, I've got something in my background. I don't know if everyone else can hear this music. If they can't, if we can, no? Okay. How weird. Um, I don't know what to say. I would like to continue talking about him, but it's the beginning of your music, Jacqueline, that's coming into my ears, which is very odd. How would that happen? Anyway, let me see if I can override this. So, he is still trying to paint one of the best pictures in the world, and he's 90 years old. So his enthusiasm absolutely shines through, which is great. He's in his studio painting on his birthday. He also is in his studio at Christmas. And he came to London from Ghana when he was 19. He went to the Royal School of Art and with the likes of Hockney and people like that, the music's come now, so now I feel more relaxed. But he's done some wonderful, wonderful pieces of art. I mean, I would love to show all of them, but obviously we can't do today. But there's one piece of art that maybe we can show just to give an idea. It's called Ghana Dreams that he painted in 1989. I don't know if we've got that, but the biggest thing as well about that's very exciting about he's backing a new initiative. There we are, go. He uses that's just one of his fun paintings. They're huge as well, so they're like big wall size. If I had a person there, you'd see how big it is. But he uses different mediums to create whatever he feels, and that's obviously from his home from years ago. But this new initiative that he supported is to support. He's bringing out a new line of pictures. Isn't it great at 90 to be bringing out new works? I just think hats off. But this initiative, which will be supporting this new generation of artists, is trying to help raise £500,000, and this is to buy art supplies for state primary schools. And apparently, there's a certain report that's saying how there's the lack of creative energy. People cannot be creative at a younger age. Not everybody, but it's not a good sign. I don't know whether this is from COVID. I need to look into it a little bit more. But so the fact that he's helping here, the idea behind it is to spark the creative fire within a young person. So I think that's absolutely lovely, and I just hope he continues because wow, he's a real inspiration. And the fact that he wants to bring out more and more work and do like, I just hats off. It's amazing. So, celebrating Sir Frank Bowling. And now I'm going to also celebrate a wonderful actress and more here in the UK. Her name is Vicki McClure, and she is Vicki McClure MBE, and she received her MBE recently, and King Charles gave her her MBE, and they had a little chat and a laugh between them, which was really good fun. I think there we go. Oh, isn't that lovely? I just think this is just before King Charles' diagnosis, but she was so excited. She couldn't believe it. So her services, she'd been given this for her services to do with drama and charity, and the charity is namely dementia. She is a great actress. She's been in Line of Duty, I think she's known more for. This is England, I think slightly earlier. And also at the moment, she is working in Trigger Point, which is really gripping, absolutely gripping. The reason why she was involved in a documentary, BBC documentary, she helped care for her grandma, who sadly passed in 2015. But then she had this niggling thought that she wanted to do a documentary on music and the power in combating sort of dementia. So she did this great documentary, very natural. She's one of these people that she's sort of top of her game, but she's so normal and so humble, and I love seeing that. I really do. There's no ego there with her at all. Anyway, so in doing this documentary, she then formed the Dementia Choir, which is now a charity, a formed charity, and this is to support people living with dementia. She then got married very quickly at the end of last year to the director Johnny Owen, and it's really, she works with the Dementia Choir. They travel around everywhere to really top places. There she is doing a speech with them behind. All the wonderful O2 Centre, the Royal Festival Hall, all our big wonderful places in London, and outside London, they have performed wonderful concerts. And I think what's so lovely is that, you know, even though you have dementia, you can still live with dementia and still aspire to do things, to achieve things. And I think by having this choir that travels around, it just goes to show, you know, I suppose in any diagnosis, you have to really try and live and still work towards your dreams, I think what I'm saying. But I was very fortunate as well to be invited to the Outernet, which is a wonderful building we have now in Tottenham Court Road, which again is central London. It's a place where lots of events are taking place. It's the place to be now. And I think actually the Brits are going to be taking place next year there. So I look forward to that because it's quite close to where I live. And I was invited to an event called Day Fever. Now, this is something also that Vicki McClure has dreamed up, and I think it's perfect. I really do. So Day Fever, it's basically people of a certain age, and when I say of a certain age, we're talking about over 30. People remember those days when they used to go clubbing and dancing, and it used to, I don't know whether you guys were the same, and you know, people had a few drinks and people were trying to get back at early hours of the morning and no one had their cars, and you're trying to find, you know, cabs to get home, and it's like, who really wants that? No one. So she decided that a lot of her friends who had children, they still wanted to have fun. So she's thought up this Day Fever, which essentially is almost like a place that you go to listen to music and dance. So it's like a nightclub, but it's an afternoon club. So Day Fever is where you go when you just want to dance and have fun. And it starts at something like 2 o'clock and ends at about 8 p.m. so everyone can get back safely. But I was invited there. I felt blessed. It was absolutely wonderful. She was actually celebrating her MBE and the Dementia Choir and lots of things. And yeah, I was so thankful. So again, that's celebrating Vicki McClure, who is actually in Trigger Point at the moment, which is every Sunday evening, which is great fun. So there's lots of things. I don't know whether anyone has any questions or whether we move on, but I hope that was of fun. Oh yes, and of course, and this is my lovely photograph of Catherine, Princess of Wales, just in case people have forgotten what she looks like. There's so many people saying, where is she? We miss seeing her. You know, it was all, you know, especially when she's in her evening attire. And this is her at an event, and you can see Queen Camilla sat next to her. But people have missed her, but she's just recuperating at the moment, and we will see her in due course. And I think people should stop trying to question, and I think people should be let be. I mean, goodness me, I mean, after Easter is when we're supposed to see her, and that's sort of, Easter's coming up. It's in March, isn't it? So we really don't have that long, so hopefully we will see her. But we wish everyone well. We certainly wish everyone well. And I'm very sad, really, for the Prince of Wales, because he obviously has a lot of stress on him at the moment.
Great job.
Thank you, Helena. Well done.
I love Day Fever.
Yes.
Isn't it? Honestly, it was amazing. It was such good fun. And I just think that simple idea of having something, a good venue that you can go to where you wouldn't really know what time it was, really. And you just go and you have just as much fun. And then you can just get back civilly. You know, if you've got children, then you're back to your children. It was really great. And I say she's so humble, and it was a real celebration of her MBE and everything she's achieved. So hopefully
awesome.
onwards and upwards.
Yeah, I think that she needs to franchise it so we can get one here in Texas.
I think so too. Well, if it's grown now, because now every month I think there's a different place in the UK that it's coming out, and it's really growing. And you know, they sell out within. It's done on a very reasonable basis. The strange thing is, I don't actually think it's attached to dementia and the dementia crisis. It possibly will be soon.
Mm-hmm. But it's such a great idea because I enjoyed going clubbing, but I mean, I only had like one Tom Collins, which probably dates me by saying what I had. But I wanted to be home by 10 o'clock because you knew you were going to be safe if you got home at 10. So I was there when the doors opened with my friends, and then we were like, okay, it's getting too noisy. Let's go.
I know. I actually went, enjoyed it, and then went for an evening meal, and then just managed and came home. And I just thought, gosh, it's wonderful, but it's just a slight change in the norm as we expect it. So it just goes to show, if you think of something, you just do it.
Yeah, I love it.
So all good. Can you hear me, by the way?
Simon, yes, we can hear you wonderfully.
Oh, okay, I was just checking. I do apologise when I mentioned earlier, the intro to our show suddenly started incredibly loud in my ears, and I wasn't sure what was happening, but I managed to get through it.
See, that's what happens when you disappear out into outer space there, and so you get all sorts of confusion and so on. So you're caught in a time warp.
Oh, that's so good. We seem to have lost JACALYN, I feel. But I've got to leave shortly because I'm doing a piece for Fox, which I need to get in on at a timely manner, and I'm cutting it fine at the moment. But this is actually not a filming piece; it's a piece for the newspaper. So
fantastic.
Hopefully, I can get that in. Obviously, it's a royal piece, as always.
Well, thank you for sharing everything, and I wish the best for Prince William. And no one needs to know anything else, but it's a personal thing.
Yeah, I just think so as well. I think we all need to chill out. I think we all need to just concentrate on our own lives, hey, and finding joy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I've got the joy, 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 joy down in my heart.
Yeah. You're a good singer. Come on, Diane.
Wouldn't it be amazing if all the armies in the world just stopped and started singing I Got the Joy, Joy?
I would love it. I would love it.
I would too.
They get some very strange looks. Very strange looks. We've got a new secret weapon here, I think, somewhere down the line.
I have to say as well, talking about if all the armies would sing that as well, because I know that Prince William has been under fire because he spoke about, the war. This is Israel-Gaza war, but it was a very humanitarian. He gave this talk, and it was humanitarian. For me, it wasn't too political, and he's been under fire about that because they're saying, that it's a bit dangerous. Possibly it's uncharted waters, but it's like the royal family in the modern world. Everything's uncharted waters at the moment. But the media sort of, they interpret things to suit their agenda, as we know, and I just think it shows the monarchy's willingness to be more involved and to modernise. And I think all that Prince William was saying was, hey, there's been so much loss of life. Come on. And it was a little bit of a shove in that way. But it was a very concise, the wording was concise. Obviously, it had been run through a few people, and I think it would have been run through King Charles as well. So I think let's give Prince William a break. He's had a fair amount of pressure and loss in his life, and I think let's just take a step back. I think he's doing a good job, and that's what I feel.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great humanitarian thing he did there. I think he did the right thing. I really don't. I don't see why he should be criticised over that. He didn't politicise it, but he humanised it, which I think
he did.
Right to do it.
Yeah, and I remember saying as well, I can't. There's always a knock-on effect. If you're not going to say anything, it's sort of slightly wrong, isn't it, in a way? We're struggling all over the place, cost of living and various things, but a lot of it is down to war as well. And you've got to be able to connect everything. So to be able to say small things, especially which is from the heart and good. I mean, no one likes to see loss of life, unnecessary loss of life. So good for him.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's been a considerable loss of life as well. It's sort of, I mean, the proportions of it have just gone. And I think it's almost looking at the stage where they've actually sort of lost sight of the reason they started it in the first place. It's a very, very sad situation. And what is even sadder about it as well is that it sort of tends to breed more war. It's one of these things that can escalate and gallop a bit. It's very sad.
So sad. So sad. I agree. So sad.
I know. Can I just say one thing and then I say adieu? So the new portrait of King Charles is going to be on our money, on our British banknotes in June. So I'm just thinking of continuity as well, because people are thinking what's going on. And I think it's lovely. This is just really for the tatty notes. So as we go along, notes get tatty and they're discarded. But the new notes that come out will have King Charles on the front. We don't have one to show. I actually think he looks quite like Prince Harry on his picture on the note. It's very odd, but one of those things. So I look forward to seeing that. And obviously, I think Queen Elizabeth was the first monarch to appear on notes, and she featured on the £1 notes in 1969. A little bit of history and a little bit of fact for you. And on that note, I shall say adieu because I have to leave you somehow.
Adieu. Have a great day.
I'm not quite sure. It was great seeing you guys. I look forward to seeing you soon, and Dr. JACALYN as well. Take care.
Okay, see you next week.
Thank you.
Bye.
That was all fabulous. And Simon, I know you have some great things to share with us before you dive into your wonderful information of who I'll let you share who it's going to be. Do we have any exciting news coming out of Scotland?
Just trouble as usual. It is. There's actually been surprisingly little going on, which would really sort of hit the global headlines here. It's been a sort of relatively quiet week for a change. I mean, it's like this week as well when I was perusing through my files to see what happens on this day, and there's actually surprisingly little happens today. As it can be, even less happens tomorrow, because tomorrow is only happens once every 4 years. It's the 29th of February, so there we go. It's it'd be such a shame to be born on the 29th of February, wouldn't it? I mean, you get away with saying you're considerably younger than you actually are, but there we go. Anyway, today I'm looking at heroes and villains, and I thought this one is more, although he's sort of a folklore hero in Scotland, he's actually a serious villain in his own right as well. Fiery temper, fiery man, but he did actually have a bit of a sense of humour somewhere down there. Most of us Scots do. I mean, living in this kind of weather that we get here, if you don't have a sense of humour, you're really in trouble. Anyway, today I'm talking about Rob Roy McGregor, the living, or he's not a living legend anymore, but he was, by golly, he was a legend in his day. So he was, let's get it going on this, because famously he was actually portrayed by Liam Neeson in the 1995 movie Rob Roy McGregor. It was painted as a hero, but in reality the 18th century outlaw was actually a bit of a more complicated figure. The Victorian author, Sir Walter Scott, captivated his readers with tales of a debonair, gallant rogue by the name of Rob Roy, an outlaw likened by many to the famous Robin Hood, who was a man of the people who stole from the rich to give to the poor. But unlike Robin Hood, however, whose name has been attached to multiple people throughout history, the fictional character of Rob Roy was based on a real individual who was most certainly an outlaw. Though perhaps not quite as chivalrous as in Scott's works. The real Rob Roy McGregor was a freebooter who frequently engaged in cattle stealing and blackmail, and even running a protection racket in which he'd charge farmers 5% of their annual earnings to stop men like himself from stealing their cattle. Certainly a far cry from the sort of noble thievery in which he came to be associated. But regardless, Rob Roy McGregor's notoriety undoubtedly solidified him as one of the most legendary folk heroes in Scottish history, and made him the namesake of an 80-mile walking trail and even a famous cocktail as well. So, which parts of Rob Roy's history are fact and which are fiction? Much of Scotland's history revolves around the great clans, which groups of people who are not quite families but allied to themselves with a powerful house and a clan chief, adopting their surname, swearing loyalty in exchange for protection and kinship. So among these powerful clans was the Clan MacGregor, or Clan Gregor, if you prefer, whose lineage, according to the Scotland magazine, traces back to Gregor, the son or brother of Kenneth MacAlpin, who was the first king of the Scots. Hence the family's motto, which is "Royal is my race." Well, Clan MacGregor once controlled land in the regions of Glenorchy, Glenlochy, and Glenstray in Argyll and Perthshire. But come the 14th century, as the Campbells rose to prominence, King Robert the Bruce stripped the MacGregors of a significant portion of their lands around Loch Awe in Argyll and gave them to the Campbells, leaving the MacGregors in control of only Glenstray. So naturally this made the MacGregors and the Campbells sworn enemies, and the MacGregor clan frequently raided Campbell cattle. Then, in 1603, two members of Clan MacGregor were killed by members of another clan, which was the Clan Colquhoun. So in retaliation, a small army of 300 and 400 MacGregors and a number of MacFarlanes killed 140 members of the Clan Colquhoun. We don't mess about with 10% in this country, I'll tell you, we go the whole hog. So this incident, however, prompted a response from King James VI, who then issued an edict outlawing and banning the MacGregor name. So from then on, anybody caught using the MacGregor name was to be executed, and anybody who killed a MacGregor was to be given a reward. So we don't mess about here. It's black and white, and that's it. So as a result, many members of Clan MacGregor were forced to take other names or resort to living a life outside of the law. In addition to the persecution, the MacGregors were not allowed to gather in groups of more than 4, nor were they allowed to carry arms of any description. So those who did not find a new clan often turned to thieving as a means of getting by. Although the rules against the MacGregors loosened a bit as the century went on, the prejudice remained. So MacGregor was a tarnished name, which is why, despite being born in 1671, Rob Roy regularly used his mother's maiden name of Campbell. At the time of Rob Roy McGregor's birth in March 1671, the persecution of the MacGregor clan had largely died down. His parents were Douglas Glass, a MacGregor chieftain, and Mary Campbell, who affectionately referred to their son as Ruach, which is laterally anglicised to Roy, the Gaelic word for red, due to his shock of fiery red hair. There's quite a lot of Scots still have fiery red hair, I can assure you as well. The tempers to go with it, maybe at times, but they've got the humour. So the MacGregors were Jacobites, loyal to the recently deposed King James II, with both Rob Roy and his father fighting in the Battle of Killiecrankie in July 1689 during the uprising against King William III. The MacGregor clan's role in the Jacobite uprising was not well tolerated, however, and following the rebellion in 1693, their name was once again banned, prompting Rob Roy to start using his mother's surname. So Rob Roy at this point shied away from the realm of politics, instead marrying his cousin, Mary Campbell of Comer, and starting his own cattle trading business under the patronage of the Duke of Montrose. And for a time, MacGregor's life was peaceful and successful. He earned the land and the title of the Laird of Inversnaid, and the location of his land between the rival clans of Argyll and Montrose proved quite fruitful. So, however, this blissful period did not last long, and in 1711, after borrowing £1,000 from the Duke of Montrose, Roy was betrayed by one of his own, his chief drover, who was sent with the money to buy the cattle. He stole the money and he fled. So Roy assured Montrose that he would catch the thief and repay the money, but the damage was done. So Montrose denounced Roy as a thief, bankrupting the cattle farmer and repossessing his lands. Some versions of the story allege that the soldiers who arrived at McGregor's house to evict him had subsequently raped and branded his wife. They're a bit savage, these guys. And Rob Roy blamed the Duke of Montrose for his misfortune and left with no choice but to turn to the life of an outlaw. He became a consistent thorn in the Duke's side. Surprise, surprise. And so McGregor pursued an aggressive vendetta against the Duke of Montrose, resulting rustling cattle on Montrose's land, thieving and robbing those loyal to the Duke, including once kidnapping Montrose's representative, who was transporting £3,000 of rent money. Now, £3,000 of rent money in those days was a huge amount of money in today's language. Eventually, according to Undiscovered Scotland, McGregor's banditry turned to landowners whom he would offer to protect for a fee. Those who didn't pay, however, soon found themselves missing quite a number of their own belongings. Yet many accounts say that McGregor was kind to the common folk during this period, especially the poor, who had similarly been mistreated by the Duke of Montrose. And it's likely that these accounts are part of the reason for his folk hero status. Well, fortunately for McGregor, his actions against the Duke of Montrose earned him an ally in Montrose's rival, John Campbell, the Duke of Argyll. Now, of course, this alliance was cut short in 1715 during the Jacobite uprising, when Rob Roy was used to rally the McGregor clan in Aberdeenshire and led to the Jacobite army from Perth towards Stirling. Argyll, however, was not sympathetic to the Jacobites' cause, and in fact sent a small army to stop the Jacobites as they tried to reach the lowlands. Well, naturally, this put McGregor in a conflicting situation, with his loyalties to the Jacobites and the Duke of Argyll being tested to the limit. During the battle, then, he decided he didn't actually fight for either side. He probably carried out a battle all of his own. This did little to help his reputation, though, and soon after a bounty was actually placed on Rob Roy's head for his role in the rebellion, in addition to his already present charges of banditry. Luckily, Campbell remained an ally to McGregor and allowed the brigand to live near an Argyll base in Inverary, which is actually just not that far away from where I live, so regularly going past Rob Roy's old house. So while living under Campbell's protection, Rob Roy McGregor continued his revenge-fueled crimes against the Duke of Montrose, during which he was captured multiple times, always managing to escape. Resourceful man. Now, this went on until 1722, when Argyll and Montrose reconciled, and ultimately leading to McGregor's arrest and confinement in Newgate Prison in London. Then in 1723, McGregor's fate changed once again when the English writer Daniel Defoe published Highland Rogue, which was an exaggerated and slightly fictitious biography of Rob Roy McGregor. A book that was evidently popular enough, though, to warrant a royal pardon for McGregor by public acclaim in 1727, just as he was about to be sent to Barbados. So, following the pardon, Rob Roy spent the last 7 years of his life living reasonably peacefully. He died on December the 28th, 1734, at the age of 63, from an infected wound, which was the result of a sword duel. He was later used as a character in a series of popular novels by Sir Walter Scott in the early 19th century, and the subject of 2 Hollywood movies in the 20th century. So in 1981, a new gravestone was erected proclaiming McGregor despite them, quoting lyrics written by Sir Walter Scott. And the lyrics went, "While there's leaves in the forest and foam on the river, McGregor despite them shall flourish forever." So there we have a hero, yet an out-and-out villain. I think is the only way you could describe him. He really was quite a character. So there we go. And so I'm moving on. I mentioned earlier about On This Day, and I was actually finding it quite difficult to find important things that were going on. But on this day in 1849, the first boatload of gold brush prospectors arrived in San Francisco from the East Coast, starting the Californian gold rush. Birthdays. The other one I could find of significance in 1906, and here we have another probable villain, Bugsy Siegel, the American gangster who created casinos in Las Vegas. He was born in Brooklyn in New York this day in 1906. For deaths, well, not many people popped off today. It was the one that I do have is Alfonso XIII, who was King of Spain, who died of a heart attack in 1931, aged 54. And if you've been listening to this, it probably popped off today as well. So.
Thank you, Simon. I'm wondering from what you said earlier, if you're born on leap year, when do you get to celebrate your birthday? Before and after? Is it
anytime you like, I suppose?
Yeah, 28th and the 1st. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, you just sort of think of it. Suddenly you're 80 years old, and in actual reality, I suppose you're only 20. Well, your 20th birthday, in reality, you're actually 80. So you take your pick.
Well, thank you. And happy birthday to everybody out there who is celebrating today or tomorrow. Tomorrow is the actual leap year. Diane, what do you have going on? What's coming up for you?
Let's see. I'll be visiting a school, and what else? Just editing. That's where I'm at.
So when you're visiting the school, you're just walking through the halls and going, hello, or do you do something else, or you're there?
The principal has invited me to come to their school and see what I can do to read to the kids and so forth. So
that's exciting. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Simon, what are you up to?
I'm sort of up to their work at the moment. I've got so many projects on the go just now as well. And having to go through some heavy editing in the next book as well. Editing. Oh, the writing's great fun, but when it comes down to the editing, you think, but there we go. It's all part of the learning curve, and it's still a very big learning curve for me. But apart from that, work-wise, I've got a lot of projects on the go just now, and looking at new ones. We've got something about to start, hopefully in Switzerland. I've been involved with Loani in and Vision Africa development. So very much looking at the Kenyan world just now for a big project out there, and so it goes on and so on. So juggling all these things up in the air at one time keeps me busy. It's supposed to keep me young.
Circus performer as well.
Yeah.
Well, good. I'm happy for both of you, and I really appreciate you taking the time to be here week after week. So thank you very much for that.
I love it.
Oh, absolutely do. I mean, this is, as I said earlier on the show today, Wednesday, 4:00 is such a special time for me. I just really enjoy this show. It's great fun.
So you're winding down your day, which means it'll be 5:00 soon, so you can enjoy something. And we're just starting our day.
That's right.
I can enjoy something that's a little bit amber in color, and
you might be enjoying already, Diane. We don't know. We can't.
No, not yet. Not yet. Come on, hurry up. Let's get
wait till the clock times 5 for sure.
But the thing is, I mean, because I've got so many projects on so many parts of the world, now I'm coming into American time. So, my emails and my phone calls and so on go on till the wee small hours quite often. I do like to try and get to bed by about 10:00 and switch the phone off, but it doesn't always work out that way.
Oh, I see. And I want to thank you for telling us about Rob Roy. That was just so fascinating. And especially since I live in the neighborhood called Rob Roy, because but I had no idea that he was a villain. I always thought he was this giant hero.
Oh, no. My son, Paul, has actually got Rob Roy's sword. It was the sword which he fought his last duel in.
Wow.
There it is there.
Wow.
So it's quite an elderly piece of kit, that, yeah.
Wow. Guess you can't get his DNA off of that, can you?
Diane.
I think
Diane's going into detective work now. I love it. But we have to say au revoir, adios for now, because our next show is coming up with Ann Scotland, Global Social Entrepreneurs, and she's a special announcement to make. And that will be followed by the Royally Rich Lifestyle Show and a special episode of Talking Heads with Mr. Red O'Loughlin. And we'll be talking about STEM, STEM, but not the STEM that you'll be thinking of probably. So we look forward to seeing you back here next week. Also, we will be on Roku, which I think should be in 2 days. The channel is published and it's going through the copyright system, whatever they have to do. And then we'll move on to Amazon Fire. So that's what I'm busy doing. Then Apple TV and then Samsung. Excuse me. So you know where to find me. In the meantime, we're going to say goodbye for now. Please do stay tuned for the rest of our shows. We'll see y'all later. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
The last few days have been really amazing. I had a trainer course from the British School of Etiquette.
And I must say it's been one of the best decisions I've ever made and one of the best investments I've made in my own training and development.
Now, words alone will not describe the transformation and the positive path that I have traveled with the British School of Etiquette.
I find really I learned a lot from the lessons this time I came.
The last few days with the British School of Etiquette have been fantastic.
And what I've learned now is really beyond my expectations.
This is the most rewarding experience and the best investment I have made this year.
It was just great. I learned so much, and when I go back to Belgium I will incorporate a lot of it into my day-to-day life and business.
It's been absolutely wonderful for the whole week that we were here.
I feel transformed, and I feel like blowing a trumpet and tell people, come and do this school, this class is the best, this is the best school ever.
You should take it. It's just, it will change your life immediately.
I am now able to teach other people how to bring the best of them.
Thank you.
Thank you, BSC.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Fostering better personal and professional relationships. Module 8, Mastery in Dining Etiquette. Building your confidence to perfect the subtleties of dining with finesse, enhancing your social savviness at any table. Step into the Polished Professional program where poise, elegance and excellence aren't just taught, they're instilled for life. Join us to redefine your potential and polish your professional edge.
To learn more, go to thebritishschoolofexcellence.com. The British School of Excellence are investors in people. Let us invest in you.